My name is Sabri Shankar. I'm a returning second year MPP student, and we are so excited to welcome you to the new student orientation. As a quick warm up, I'd like to launch a quick poll, just to get a sense of where we're plugging in from and what we do. So we have a lot of teachers here and folks who have worked for some non-profits and philanthropic organizations, or they have worked with the government. And a lot of us are joining in from Chicago time. Welcome to Hyde Park if you're already in Hyde Park. Welcome once again to the Education Policy Student Association orientation session. I'll quickly walk you through what we are planning to do for the day. So we're dividing it into 4 parts. I'll quickly go over what we have done in EPSA previously and what we are planning to do for the coming year. Share opportunities which are open at EPSA at this moment. Share other education related resources which we second years have come across so far, and then finally get into breakout rooms where we'll be interacting with current second year students who have done some form of internship in education related field over the summer. Cool. Let's get started. So EPSA typically holds 3 or more events through a quarter. Through the last year, we had a lot of mixers with alumni mixers, student orientation mixers, as well as an international case study which we held during the fall quarter of last year. We also had we also had a career networking event which was a highlight during the winter quarter, and through the spring quarter we hosted a series of lectures called Quarantine Ed to just which was completely a virtual quarter. So we just tried seeing the impact of COVID-19 on K-12 early childhood education and higher education. With ASA's help, we had Annie Duncan and Janice K. Jackson, who is the CEO of Chicago Public Schools, here to interact with us. This is what we had done through the last year. What we are hoping to do through the coming year is to hold further events related to education policy. We are looking to look at it from 3 different angles. We are looking at education from the lens of research, education implementation, and advocacy. So getting folks and alums who are working in this space to come interact with us. We also have few big goals for the coming year. So we were hoping of, so if you notice through the last year, the events we typically had events where we were hosting like speaker sessions. For the coming year, we were hoping to strengthen our research at EPSA. What we were thinking of doing is, there are a lot of professors who are working on education research. We are hoping to be able to create more lucid understanding about the current research being done and being able to share it with the student community. We are also hoping to connect and collaborate with other Harris student organizations. One of our big dreams, given the current pandemic has left us, has created a digital divide, which is increasing inequity. So we are hoping to be able to look into research and see if we can fundraise for schools which need support in the south side of Chicago. We are also hoping to create a website, but that's all in the pipeline. Like given our current capacity, we are just exploring these avenues. We are open to more inputs from you. At this point, I just like to pause and take a temp check. Like to invite Charlene to share the current opportunities which are available at EPSA.
Okay, cool. Hi everyone, my name is Charlene. I am a joint degree MPP MBA. I'm on the board of EPSA, and so what I do is currently I'm the director of communications, and then we have Sabrish, who's our president. I believe he's going to pull the rest of the current board list, but we also have Fawn May, who's outgoing just because she's president of Harris. So she has a lot on her plate. But then we also have Yolanda, who is Director of Finance. She's currently in China right now, so unable to join the call today. But we are actively recruiting. If you are first year or even like a second year that wants to become involved in Harris this year, essentially we're looking at 2 positions for external affairs. So you might be thinking, why 2 positions? Well, it's because external affairs handles a lot of logistics and outreach to people. So when we're planning an event and we want to have a host, or if you want to collaborate with another club, external affairs would help work with each other in order to gauge interest, facilitate relationships, and build them in order to have whatever party we are targeting to help join EPSA. It's a bit different than my role of communications because I'm more of the marketing. So that's publishing events through various social media, sending the emails, sending the newsletters, but we would be working in tandem to make sure the events that we plan go swimmingly. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get some events going in the spring in person. We would obviously love to meet everyone then and have something outside of our homes. And then the last one is essentially R&D. So what does that look like in terms of EPSA? There's a lot of different topics going on in education, from the gaps that are exacerbated by COVID to what is higher education doing right now, any other education issues that aren't related to COVID. And so as part of our interest as policy students, we'd like someone to take the lead to kind of highlight those. And if you like doing research, to really have more coverage. And that way, if you want to contact a professor or an educator to maybe speak or to learn more about these topics, we can interweave them into our newsletters or in events. So that's our expectation for the R&D lead. The application form for recruiting will be sent out. So like I said, if you are interested, highly encourage you to apply. I think we're a pretty fun team. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to anyone on the current board. Thanks.
Awesome. I'm also launching a quick poll just to gauge what you can help us with. As Charlene mentioned, the applications for I will be sending out the applications soon. Coming up next, I'd like to invite Fanmei to talk about ed policy at UChicago.
Cool. Thank you, Sabresh and Charlene. I know a lot of us who are currently in this session are interested in education or education policy, and unfortunately, we do not have an education policy certificate in-house at Harris at this moment, but we do have a lot of resources, whether in Harris or in the broader university. So I'm just gonna introduce a few things that that's being highlighted here. So on this screen right now, what you can see are classes that were being offered this year. And I know that this is not a confirmed list yet, but these classes, you can expect these classes to show up. And I think all of us, the board members, have taken some of these classes. So if you have specific questions, you can always feel free to reach out. And can I change to the next?
Yeah. Yes. Cool.
And in the university, we also have some classes offered in different departments, and there is a central place where you can look at those classes. I think you can find the link to this website. If Sabresh, you can drop the link in the chat, I think that will be very helpful. And these are also classes that you can take if you want to pursue the Education and Society certificate. Just recently, I mean, this year, Harris students, MPP candidates can pursue the Education and Society certificate, but it's also a very demanding course. So talk to your academic advisor if you are interested in pursuing that. And these are some of the faculty highlights. You can also find this information on this page that's being linked. Show of the resources we have, and this is definitely not an exhaustive list. And if you are interested in doing research, these are organizations that you can look for more opportunities. And I know a couple of them are actually doing active research in this upcoming year. So yeah, these are just some good places to look into.
Awesome. Thank you, Fanmei. I'll just drop the link in just a minute, Charlene.
We'll break people into different rooms where each second year will be providing their background, their interests, a little bit of recruiting, really whatever the room wants to talk about. And so we have Nora, Adam, and Smriti. After I give the brief rundown, everyone can do introductions starting with Nora, but here's their contact info. People will be rotated every 10 minutes or so, so you will have a chance to speak with them. As I mentioned, their contact is there if you want to extend the conversation after today. But Nora, I will pass it off the mic to you to give a little bit more details about yourself.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Nora McConnell Johnson. I am a second year or soon to be second year MPP student. I like that it says ex-TFA. I was Teacher America New Orleans 2012. I stayed in the classroom until I came to Harris. So I was a teacher for 7 years. I taught middle school reading and writing. And I was fortunate enough to stay at my placement school for all 7 of those years. I'm really interested in the intersection of rigor and trauma-informed practices, and I would say that that's like my specialty when it comes to education, and also really interested in charter schools, both good and bad. And I spent my summer working at Chicago Public Schools in the new Office of Equity. So I'm happy to talk about CPS, charter schools, New Orleans, all of it. I'm glad you all are here.
All right. Hey guys, my name's Adam. I'm really excited to be here. My background is also in education. I was an elementary school teacher for a few years with the Fulbright program, taught elementary school level English, but I've also worked in education finance. I worked for the governor of Illinois and for Chicago Public Schools in their budget offices as a budget analyst, mostly dealing with operations. And this past summer, I've been very fortunate to be able to work with the mayor's office where I focused on educational programming. So, I mean, I love teaching in the classroom too. And another one of my main specialty, I'd say, is education policy in terms of education equity and fiscally responsible education.
Hello, everybody. I'm Smriti Sharma, and I'm from India, and I'll be moving on to my second year of classes this October, classes starting from October. And so I'm basically a civil engineer who kind of transitioned from the engineering sciences to the education sector because of the Teach for India fellowship. So hi, Nora. So she's done the TFA and I've done the TFI. So in a low-income community, in a low-income private school back in Ahmedabad in India. So I did that for about 2 years, and my main focus in those 2 years was how to incorporate STEM education and build a very rigorous curriculum around it, and how to incorporate technology into pedagogy. And after that, I transitioned to working with public schools in another city in India. And after that, I felt like I needed more technical skills to sort of encapsulate the entire education sector. And currently I'm exploring the urban policy domain. And I really want to understand that how aspects like housing, transportation actually affect student learning outcomes among disadvantaged communities, in especially segregated neighborhoods like Chicago. I also interned with Chicago Public Schools. I was mostly helping them do data analysis work and sort of reopen, that would sort of give them an idea or insights about how to reopen schools post-COVID. So happy to talk about that as well, and looking forward to meet you guys and know more about you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. So Sabrish will be assigning people to their breakout rooms. As I said, you will be rotated every 10 minutes. If you have any general questions, you can also feel free to come back to the main room.